Well, when I was shaking all of those hands, I was thinking, which one of you is Pelton swag? And, I mean, you've got your degree now, so you can, no harm will come to you. Not really. Well, today marks the end of one thing and the beginning of another. In this place and in this hour, we welcome you into the company of educated people, a ritual that is repeated at scores of American colleges and universities during this season of hope, of joy and renewal. I presided over more commencements than you could count on two hands. And yet, on each occasion, I am struck by the suddenness of your transition from one thing to something else entirely. Just like that, one day you are here, and the next you are not. You and I have something in common. We arrived at Emerson together. Your first year was my first year. And when you arrived on campus 4 years ago, I began a tradition to shake the hands of each undergraduate enrolling at Emerson for the first time. And I had the opportunity to see you up close and in action. It was a remarkable and joyous thing to behold, the great diversity of costumes and footwear, the distinctive hairstyles, and even more, the distinctive hair colors. I quickly learned that the morning is not your friend. You work late into the night. Got an amen. You work late into the night collaborating with each other on your various projects. And you seemed more cheerful and talkative on the elevator at 2 or 4 in the afternoon than at 8 in the morning. You often had something in your hand, sometimes in both hands, a triple latte in one and a video camera in the other. One of you, when I asked what you wanted to do after Emerson, said to me without blinking an eye, "I will co-anchor the Today Show." I nodded. I was awestruck by the sheer audacity and self-assurance. Since then, you have grown a beard, and your hair touches the top of your shoulders, which is probably not the look that is likely to get you to your goal. But, hey, look what I've done for you. Did you ever think of Good Morning America instead? You will never have a better opportunity to make your pitch. We have endured and shared the same experiences. We lost classmates to early deaths, an aspiring comedian, a photographer, and a first-year student on campus for barely 6 weeks. We opened a new campus in Los Angeles. We launched an innovation center, and we broke ground on a new residence hall. We witnessed the re-election of America's first African-American president. A few short months before we arrived, the Bruins had won the Stanley Cup. Following that, the Red Sox won the World Series, and the Patriots won their 4th Super Bowl before we learned more than we ever wanted to about the physics of 12.5 pounds per square inch and the ideal gas law. Our first winter broke records for its warmth. It snowed a total of 8 inches. Can you imagine that? Our second year began with a hurricane named Sandy and ended with the marathon bombings. that irrevocably changed the lives of young and old alike. Two students living across from each other in the little building created a T-shirt in the blue and yellow colors of the Boston Athletic Association, whose insignia, Boston Strong, became a powerful symbol of the resolve and resilience of a great city in the face of evil and suffering and despair. In between the bombings and the hurricane was a nor'easter that dumped almost 2 feet of snow on the city, a foot shy of history. And of course, not to be undone by that almost record snowfall, winter returned this year with an apocalyptic vengeance, closing schools and businesses and the cranky tea while disrupting significantly ordinary life. And most important, of course, was the sorrowful closing of Sweetwater Tavern. You know, this is the venerable place where, over tea and English biscuits, you engaged in spirited debates about the decline of the European Union, multivariable calculus, the study of matter and its motion through time and space, the religions of New Guinea, and of course the cure for incurable diseases, all of which, no doubt, have left you with an indelible memory that will last a lifetime. What? Really, what? That was for your parents, by the way. We had quite a time in Boston, you and I. These events during our 4 years together have left me almost breathless. They also remind me that it's time for you to go. It really is. The 4 women that we honor today represent excellence in all of its dimensions and in full measure. Each is an outstanding leader in her field. Robin Roberts, a longtime broadcast journalist, is one of the most recognized people in America. Dr. Sherry Blauwit has used her capacities as a scientist and a physician in sports rehabilitation and sports medicine to change lives. Ann Hawley is one of a handful of women in the world to serve as a director of a major art museum, where she has provided extraordinary leadership for a quarter of a century. And Natasha Trethewey, brilliant writer, professor, and 2-term poet laureate of the U.S., has awakened our conscience to the enduring themes and tropes of that democratic experiment that we call America. Most important, each of our honored guests understands that the fundamental question for us is simply this: how will I live my life with meaning and purpose? They understand that the rhythms of daily life form a pattern that shape the days and years of our lives. They are filled with meaning. Each has sought to serve humanity, whether it's telling a very public story about her courageous fight with cancer and its aftermath, or illuminating the power of the human will to turn physical obstacles into virtuous action, or using her talent and resources to make the transformative power and beauty of art available and visible to all, without regard to economic status, or explicating how the devastating series of events that we have come to know know by a single name, Katrina, unveiled deep and long-standing social and economic disparities that exist within this land of plenty. In this assembly of great women, I am reminded that this year remarkably calls the anniversary of some of the most important moments of civil rights and social justice in human history. This is the 40th anniversary of the United Nations International Women's Day. All right. A day when women are recognized for their achievements. It's an occasion for looking back on past struggles and achievements, but more important, for looking ahead to the untapped potential and the opportunities that await future generations of women. This is the 60th anniversary of Rosa Parks' refusal to move to the back of the bus. Ushering in, as she did, the modern American civil rights movement. 50 years ago, the 1965 Voting Rights Act was signed into law to enforce the voting rights guaranteed by the 14th and 15th Amendments of our Constitution, thereby removing many of the barriers that stood in the way of some Americans to vote. And 25 years ago, as you've already heard, the American Disabilities Act afforded protections against discrimination to Americans with disability, much as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 extended those rights to others. You know, the call to greatness is alive in every generation, including your own. Your education at Emerson has prepared you to be great people in ways that are not obvious to you today. No doubt you will be filmmakers, film writers, producers, directors, actors, poets, novelists, editors, publishers, marketing and communication experts, journalists, new media entrepreneurs, communication science disorders therapists. Yes, you will be all of these and even more. And most of you will change your careers and professions several times. Many of you will work and live abroad for some portion of your career. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy, said Hamlet. Your greatness will not be found in where you work, but how you live your life. How will I live my life? How will I live my life with meaning and purpose? There are no more important questions than these. In these are to be found true greatness. In these are to be found our humanity. In these are to be found our true genius. The world awaits your arrival with open and anxious arms. And it cares not that you will be rich or famous, but that you will live a good life, that you will add rather than extract value from human society. Believe me, do all of this, and all of the other things in life will not matter. It matters little to me whether my pupil is intended for the army, the church, or the law. Before their parents chose a calling for them, nature called them to be a person. And when they leave me, they will be neither a magistrate, a soldier, nor a priest. They will be a person. So wrote Rousseau more than 2 centuries ago. You live in a heroic age. And I hope that you will come to understand that your education has been deeply rooted and connected to human experience and human endeavor, and that the process by which you deepen your connection to the living world will excite you, it will inspire you, it will delight you, it will confound you, will bewilder you every day of your life. More than anything else, you have been educated to serve humanity, and to serve humanity in your various and diverse fields. You've been given a precious gift. Don't squander it. Don't squander it, but use your talents and your resources to make of this old world a new world. And when you depart from this commonwealth of learning, may your life bring you some work of noble note. May you find meaning in your commitment to others. And may your memories of Emerson be always undying. Good luck and good cheer.